Hi, welcome everybody to this video. My name is Casey Lau. I'm a personal finance author and a financial educator. So in this video, we're going to talk about the one of the greatest financial invention of this decade, of the past few decades, in fact, credit cards. So we'll discuss about the pro and cons. And a lot of people actually fear of using credit card because what we heard is that a lot of people got into bankruptcy because they are using credit card, because credit card is charging a very high interest rate, and when you don't know what you're doing with it, is in fact a very dangerous thing. So let's talk about the pro and cons of having credit cards. By the way, I myself, just a disclosure, I use a lot of credit cards. So I have like about 4 cards that I use every month. So we'll talk about that, why I use it, and also how you want to stay out of trouble using it. So let's talk about cons first, the disadvantage of using credit cards. Now, when some people, they face trouble because they, in fact, this is the word I would say, abuse the credit card. Because when you have credit cards, it means that banks give you credit to use. That means you don't pay yet, but you get to spend the money. So for example, if you have let's say a 5,000 credit limit on one of your card, and you can just swipe it, and 5,000 is gone if you buy something like a Mac, iMac or something, right? So when people abuse it and they don't have the money to pay back, then the problems start to snowball, because you have to pay as high as like 18% interest per annum. So this is like four times more than what you are paying the interest for your housing loan. You see, when you abuse and you don't have the money and you spend it, then you're going to get yourself into trouble. So now, since you're watching this, I bet that you are using credit card, or you want to know how to make use of it. So be disciplined and don't abuse it, then it should be all right. So now we talk about the disadvantage is that if you abuse it, you are in big trouble. But if you don't abuse it, I would say that credit card is a very good thing to have. Why? The first thing is, whenever you use a credit card to make payment, is kind of a recording. You record now what you actually spend on. So the first advantage I would say is that it produces a proper record of your expenditure. So for example, I run a business. I use a specific credit cards for all the business transactions. So every month I know that how much I spend on my business. And also if you're self-employed or you're a business person, you can use your credit card statement where it shows the gas station you went to for the past 30 days. Then it's actually a proper record that is acceptable for accounting purposes, where you can report how much petrol you pump in your car. So this is the expense, so you don't have to keep the actual receipt at the pump. So that's what I do as well. So the second thing is, it also provides an emergency needs. So when for example, if you have family members being admitted to hospital, and you need to pay some fees before the doctor can do the surgery on your family members, then they require you to pay some form of deposit. And you don't have to trouble yourself, go to the bank and withdraw all the cash. Maybe you go to ATM a few times just to withdraw the cash to pay for the deposit. But if you have a credit card, then in the form of emergency, you can straight away use it. So it's very convenient to have. And the third thing is, I would say another advantage is this is the most popular advantage, where people can claim rebate for using credit card. So if you charge 5,000, maybe you get 1% back, 50 ringgit, things like that. And then also like voucher, you can use your point to redeem voucher. Like for me, I like to redeem point for voucher that is for expenses that is not tax deductible on my site. Like let's say I'm going to buy some groceries, I'll exchange voucher for like Aeon or Giant or Tesco. Since if I spend on that, I'll not be able to deduct expense from my business. So those are groceries, is for household usage. So what I do is I will exchange voucher for those kind of expenses. So I think this is pretty much self-explanatory. And the fourth thing is some people get confused about is that when you have a credit card or and you spend regularly using the credit card, you in fact have extra cash on hand as a result of that. So I'll give you an example. So I'll put this benefit here. It's called this extra cash on hand, I guess. Okay, I'll just put it cash on hand. How does this work? So for example, if you have a credit card, your statement, it comes up let's say every 10th of the month. So if let's say 10 January will be the statement for the transaction before 10th of January. And then they will give you like 20 days period interest free to pay it off on due date. So the due date will come like 20 days later, which is 30th January. Write it down here, 30th January. This is the date where you need to pay. If you don't pay everything on the outstanding, then you are going to incur interest charges. Then if you keep doing that, I'll call that abuse, okay? So don't abuse your credit card, pay it off right before the due date. And for example, now the next statement only come like 10 February, right? Every 10 of the month. So for example, you are going to buy an iMac. So iMac costs you maybe 5,000 ringgit. So if you charge that 5,000 ringgit on the 11, let's say on the 11 or on the 10, it can be on the 10, you charge 5,000 here. And you don't have to pay until the next statement come out, because this statement is only show the transaction before it. So the transaction 5,000 you charge on this 10th of January is going to show up only on 10th of February. Then you still have another 20 days before the due date. So it's about like maybe 1st of March or something, right? So only at that time, the period here is like 30 days plus 20 days. So I would say that it's like interest free. You have this 5,000 in your bank, interest free for 50 days. And some people will just keep it in your flexi home loan, reduce the principal so they can save on the interest charge. Or also you can put it in FD, still can earn you some money, even like 1 month, right? So this is the extra cash on hand. I would say this is one of the very good benefit. And yeah, something I forgot about, one of the disadvantage as well. So when you have expenses on your credit card, it actually affect your DSR, the debt service ratio, which is very important when you are going to take loan from the bank. So bank, when they look at your CRIS report, they will be able to see what is your outstanding amount charged on your credit card. So let's say the outstanding is 5,000, but even though you are planning to pay it off before the due date, but when the bank see the 5,000, they will take like 5% of it as your commitment. So because the minimum payment for credit card is 5% of your outstanding, so they'll see this 5,055. This is 250 ringgit per month, have to be deducted from your DSR. So that means when you get loan, this will be accounted for. And so what to do with it? Of course, maybe you can ask your bankers, when are you going to check the CRIS? So make sure you just pay it off before they check your CRIS. No, zeroize all your credit card, then this DSR is not going to affect your loan application. So this is all I want to say about credit cards. So be smart, don't abuse it, you'll be alright. And I have more money tips on written down inside my ebooks, where you can download for free. Is at my website kclau.com, kclau.com. So see you there.